No Hora de Agir de hoje nós vamos tentar compreender como é que se consegue conjugar a produção de eletricidade nas barragens, a que chamamos hidroeletricidade ou energia hídrica, com a necessidade de mitigarmos os impactos ambientais sempre que construímos uma parede e interrompemos o fluxo natural, o curso natural de um rio. Angola, Brasil, Moçambique ou Portugal, todos operam centrais hidroelétricas, algumas de grandes dimensões, e nós precisamos de compreender como é que reduzimos os impactos ambientais, quer na operação ou sempre e principalmente quando necessitamos de construir uma nova barragem. E num tempo que já é de crise climática, onde nós precisamos de mais reservas de água, precisamos de compreender o que é que vai acontecer à hidroeletricidade se precisarmos de guardar mais água para o consumo humano, para as indústrias ou para as atividades agrícolas. E por isso nós temos hoje uma conversa com um convidado muito especial, o Dr. Ashok Khosla, que é presidente de uma organização internacional, a Hydropower Sustainability Alliance, e que deixou também ao longo da sua vida um rastro de serviço público, quer seja num trabalho em prol do desenvolvimento sustentável, mas também a trazer para a vida das empresas e da economia a responsabilidade social, especialmente na erradicação da pobreza em alguns países e também na colocação do ambiente na vida das organizações.
A idade da pedra não acabou por terem terminado as pedras. A idade do carvão, do petróleo e do gás natural não vai acabar por ter terminado o carvão, o petróleo e o gás natural. É esta a nossa missão, a de fazer a maior mudança alguma vez vista do paradigma energético, nesta que é uma história que já escrevemos hoje. Para isso contamos com a ciência, mais uma vez um passo à frente com as soluções, e agora o que precisamos mesmo é de ir mais rápido. As velhas centrais a carvão vão encerrar, como já encerraram em Portugal. Os geradores a combustível vão parar. E as centrais a gás, que foram as últimas a aparecer, serão também as últimas a fechar. É isto que veremos nos próximos anos. Onde nascerá também o novo mix energético, onde o sol será rei. Ele é a fonte mais barata de todas para produzirmos eletricidade. A seguir será o vento que sopra na terra ou no mar. A geotermia trará o calor da superfície da crosta terrestre e a água continuará a produzir eletricidade, quer com o movimento das ondas do mar, do fluxo dos rios ou nas barragens, que serão cada vez mais utilizadas como eficientes pilhas hidráulicas, que em união com as baterias eletroquímicas e outras tecnologias que estão a aparecer, serão aliados para uma cada vez maior penetração de energias renováveis porque resolvem o problema da intermitência. Por isso, países com mais barragens produtoras de energia hidroelétrica terão mais vantagens para uma maior produção solar e eólica, porque terão mais recursos para armazenar eletricidade. Mas construir barragens tem impactos ambientais que precisam de ser minimizados, porque, a par com a descarbonização e a redução de emissões, tem de existir preocupação com a preservação da biodiversidade. Por isso, foi criada uma aliança com o objetivo de criar um padrão com elevados parâmetros de sustentabilidade, a Hydropower Sustainability Alliance, para que as novas e atuais barragens possam impactar cada vez menos nos ecossistemas. Uma organização liderada por Ashok Khosla, com quem conversamos sobre o futuro da produção de eletricidade nas barragens, mas também sobre uma longa vida de trabalho nas Nações Unidas, na dinamização no mundo das organizações não governamentais e também do projeto Development Alternatives, que desde a década de 80 na Índia e através da economia social criou centenas de milhares de empregos.
Dr. Ashok Khosla, thank you for joining us in Hora de Agir. In English mean time to act.
Yes, it certainly is time to act now.
Time to act. Dr. Khosla, what do you think about this specific moment in humankind's timeline, one generation after the new millennium? What is happening?
It is not good. We can be a little worried about the way things are going for humanity, for our environment, for our future. The children of our children are going to have a rough time if we do not change. but I believe we can change. And the current generation is trying to make that change happen. And so if we all realize that it is time to act, maybe the world will be a livable place in the next century.
But there is a problem here. The Earth Summit 1992, it was in Rio. After more than 30 years, the speech is the same.
Yes, the speeches are the same, the problems are the same. So you can't expect the speech to change very much. Unfortunately, not many new solutions have come up, and that is why the speech is the same.
We remain 82% on fossil fuels nowadays.
Right. In 1992, I was the chairperson of the NGOs from all over the world in Flamenco Park. And we had 40,000 people at the Rio Summit, Earth Summit. And we obviously had many feelings about what needs to be done. Not much of that has been done yet, but I think the signs of change are happening. And very soon, I believe that we will have some change.
What are your personal values and experience that lead to your concerns about and your dedication about the sustainability development and about environmental protection? Why did it happen in your life?
In my life, I was always there at the right place at the right time. So when I was young, about 7 years old, I was a refugee from my home to another place, and I saw a lot of deprivation. I saw a lot of poverty. I saw a lot of people in distress. And even though I was 7 years old...
In India?
In India. When India was split up between Pakistan and India, I was a refugee from where I was living, which was in Pakistan, to India. And I came to the conclusion that the world shouldn't be like this. And for the rest of my life, I've been trying to figure out how to change it. And then, in addition to human distress, human problems, you added a whole slew of problems in the environment and in the whole resource issues of our civilization. And so I basically became committed myself to trying to find better ways to do things.
And you worked with people, bottom up?
Bottom up. We try to create jobs for people, which is the biggest number one problem. And we do that by creating small enterprises in remote areas, far away, in villages, in India, in other countries. Enterprises that bring about better lives for people and create jobs. So we create a large number of jobs. At the moment, my organization is creating something like more than 2,000 jobs every day. And
wow.
We keep on trying to improve that. And soon, I hope, we will have created 1 million jobs to demonstrate that it is possible.
Today, we are talking a lot about social responsibility, the ESG criteria. It's always been in your life and in your thoughts too.
Yeah, I wasn't doing it because of a responsibility. I was doing it because it's fun. It was much nicer to do something that is rewarding and you create better lives for people yourself. What more do you want? You don't have to do very much to make money.
But it's amazing because in the world of inequalities and with more than 800 million people is facing hunger, it's something to be celebrated, no?
It's to be celebrated only in the sense that if you didn't do something, it would be pretty horrible. So I do not accept a world that is so unequal and so unfair and so unjust that it has to be like this. So we fight.
E a HdA reuniu aqui em Lisboa e nós fomos ouvir a opinião de vários pontos de vista, de vários dos seus membros, de várias nacionalidades, de como é que se pode produzir eletricidade nas barragens de uma forma mais sustentável.
A Hydropower Sustainability Alliance é uma entidade recente que que está a estabelecer uma nova norma de sustentabilidade para um setor com bastante impacto no ambiente a nível global.
Hydropower happens for the people. It happens to support people with their energy and water needs. However, hydropower projects come with large impacts as well. So to manage these expectations, to be able to deal with these problems, we need a measurement tool that we can actually measure projects against international good practice and best practice. And that's what we're trying to achieve with the standard.
Here, I think it's really, as we work all together, that's important. And when we go looking forward, hydropower is there forever. But looking forward, for us, it's very important that only sustainable hydropower exists in the future.
SECO is most specifically supporting our priority countries in getting capacity building on the hydropower sustainability standard and its tools. These priority countries are Albania, Colombia, Indonesia, the Tajik Republic, and Morocco.
There is no energy transition without sustainable hydropower. There is no decarbonised electricity grid anywhere that doesn't have a substantial part of hydropower, a substantial element. Because you can't run a whole system just on wind and solar, because there's always a problem what happens when the wind doesn't blow and the sun doesn't shine. So you need a backup, you need something that will balance it, and that's where hydropower has been really strong. Now, hydropower is the forgotten giant of the renewables. It's the very backbone of the renewable system.
What more can we do to make our electricity production at our dams more sustainable?
What we need to do is to respect nature and respect people. When you build a dam, you automatically play around with nature and with people who are living there. So what hydropower...
People has to change their homes.
They have to change, but you have to make it possible for them to change. So you cannot just come and say, I'm going to make a hydropower station here, and it doesn't matter who gets hurt. You have to build that power station on the basis of spending whatever is required for making their lives better. Not just equal, but better. And the same applies to nature. I come from the mountains. I live in the Himalayas, and it's very, very fragile ecosystem. So if you make a road or you make a dam, you can end up by having landslides and earthquakes and all kinds of problems. So hydropower is not a good thing unless it minimizes these risks. And hydropower can only be good if it is good for the local people as much as for the other people who get electricity in the big city. So you have to make sure that the local ecosystem, the local nature, and the local communities are actually better off than before. And that is what sustainable hydropower is about.
And how can we do that?
There are methods, tools. We've developed a whole range of sophisticated analysis of how you go there, and we've trained people who can go to a place where the government or a company wants to set up a hydropower station, and they can look at the details, the ecosystem, the geology, the ability of that area to handle large amounts of water, and then you basically either redesign that if it's not good enough, or you say, yes, this is okay, this will work.
Is it like create a new standard for developing of this kind of projects?
We have a standard, you're right. And the standard is a very detailed methodology for ensuring that hydropower will be net positive, will give more benefits than the costs.
It means that the energetic mix of the future, can we have more hydropower production?
you will need to have, not only can have.
Because people is growing up in the population.
Well, in part that is true, but people is growing and their demand for energy is growing. But you know, people talk about renewable energy and they talk about solar and wind and other kinds of energy, but the sun doesn't shine all the time and the wind doesn't blow all the time. So you need a certain source of energy that will work when the sun and the wind are not producing energy. So
It's like a storage.
Like storage, like continuing power supply. So you can have batteries, you can have nuclear power, you can have varieties of other things, but they all have very big environmental impacts. So hydropower is renewable and it has the least cost and the maximum benefits. So I believe without it you can't have the other renewable energies like solar or wind, and with it you can have 3 times as much.
And solutions like in-stream hydro can be a solution for this
Yes,
energetic mix?
There are many kinds of hydro. Some are for storage, like you were saying earlier, but some of them are for run of the river, and they don't have so much impact, bad impact. And then there are some that are basically micro hydro, small hydro in hilly communities, where an individual family or a small business can have their own hydro. And that is the best of all.
How can we go further, go deep in the cooperation in this world? I dream with a new country, United States of the world. Is it possible?
It should be. The United States of the world is, I hope, the future of the world. We need more than that. We need the scientists to collaborate. We need the politicians to collaborate and to be able to see not as competitors, but as partners in making a better world. I think it is possible to have a better solutions, both from technology point of view and economic point of view, but they will only happen when our political leaders see it as a good thing to cooperate and to work together.
And what is your message for next generations?
The next generation has to take care of itself. It is going to be very responsible for its next generation. So while this generation has not done much to look after the next generation, they will have a responsibility for the one after that, and I hope they will be very careful.
Thank you, Dr. Kozla. O mix energético do futuro será muito diferente daquele que é hoje, onde haverá uma presença muito reduzida dos combustíveis fósseis e terá uma diversidade muito maior daquelas que são as fontes de energia. O homem buscará na natureza as energias renováveis, as energias naturais, para satisfazer as suas necessidades energéticas que lhe darão o conforto e que alimentarão também uma economia que estará cada vez mais em harmonia com as outras formas de vida. As fontes convencionais e poluentes do passado e, em certa medida, ainda do presente, vão ser reduzidas à medida que um homem avança e faz as pazes com o mundo natural, faz as pazes com uma nova relação com o meio ambiente, nesta que é o início de uma nova civilização, de uma nova era da sustentabilidade, para a qual temos de avançar com sentido de urgência. E é por isso que todas as semanas nós aqui dizemos que é hora de agir. Um abraço, amigo, e até para a semana.